Hello everyone, this is Benjamin Ramirez with the fourth video on e4, c5, b4, c takes b4, knight to f3, knight to c6, d4 video. This is the fourth one. We're still reviewing e6 after that point. And after e6, each one of these will be a3 for me. I mean, obviously white can do different moves. However, I'm trying to get a report for white. So after a3, there's different moves. I already covered b takes a3. I covered d5 a bit. This one's queen to c7. The next ones will be knight to f6, d6, and another one for d6. After queen to c7, I play a takes b4. I believe bishop takes b4 is the best response for black. I will explain to you why I don't like knight over here. Knight takes b4. The reason why is after you kick the knight, basically after you kick the knight, and let's say he goes back, you can put a little more pressure. Now, if he were to, let's say, capture, and you were to capture back, and knight goes over here to e5, and you were to continue targeting the knight, and he were to defend it, now the reason why someone would maybe capture with their knight is because they may be looking to actually fend cuddle their bishop at some point. If they were to try it in this position, you basically have a free knight, because if you capture it and he captures back, you simply just, now you have a rook instead of a free knight. So that's why I don't like it. It's not guaranteed that he's going to try to fend cuddle right away, but that would be a reason why someone would capture with the knight instead of their bishop. Because in this position here, if someone were to capture with the bishop, which is basically what I'm going to be going over, what ends up happening after he captures with his bishop is after c3, the bishop will go back here, more than likely, and it's going to be very difficult for him to actually castle. He can move back one. It's not an actual bad move for black. Obviously, you can simply just, continue to put some type of pressure on, and if he decides to go here, it's perfectly fine for black. It's actually okay. It's okay for white as well. In this position, I probably would just simply move my bishop over to try to, keep his pieces a little tied up. I don't like my opponent to be able to move as freely as he can, so I would do something like that if somebody were to move back. However, mostly people go over here, and after someone goes here and you move your pawn up, he's gonna have a hard time castling. That's basically what's going to be happening. He's going to have a very hard time castling. So that is why somebody may do this here if they're looking to castle, finish out their bishop and castle. And as I said, after that, I would simply kick his knight back and push, is what I would do. If he were to move his knight, let's say, he would go knight to a5, for example. Let's pretend he would do something like that. He basically is just displacing his knight, and it's not going to be very active. I mean, you're not going to be able to get a piece off of the, the mistake of trying to fend cuddle early. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I mean, you can simply keep developing and not worrying about it, and there's a good chance that that knight's not going to be active. He can't go anywhere but back right now. So he just basically tied up one of his pieces, and it's going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So that is why I don't like knight takes the pawn. However, somebody may try it. I mean, it's not horribly bad, because if he does it and you go to c3 and he moves back, it's still even game. And even after d5, if he were to simply capture and you recapture, and he would remove his knight to a5, I mean not a5, I'm sorry, and if you remove the knight to e5 after bishop to f4, after d6, and after the queen over here, I believe it's better for white. However, even though I believe it is better for white slightly, because you have more pieces, you're more developed and so forth, and he's kind of tied down, he can't really castle right now and so forth. Even though it's better for white slightly, it doesn't mean that he's going to like automatically lose a piece. You know, he simply can develop a bishop. So I'm just letting you know that a mistake that can happen if someone tries to fianchetto too early is losing a piece in this position. And this can happen if somebody decides they want to move their knight instead of their bishop for the reasons of castling, for fianchetto and castling. So after bishop takes, which is the most common move I've seen here, I've played c3, kicking the bishop back, and the person going back here. After that, after the bishop kicked back, I like e5. And in this position, it seems fairly even. You have a pretty good strong pawn structure. You're down one pawn. You have a little bit more space. He has more pieces actually developed than you do, but yours is not going to have any problem coming out. His will. I mean, he can play pretty much almost anything right here. I mean, he can play d6 if he wanted. You know, he can play a6, you know, which most likely wouldn't happen, because if he's concerned about his structure and his castling, he's probably going to be trying to look to do something in regards to help him developing for castle. He can play d5 if he wanted. Alright. I would simply just develop my bishop if someone did that. I wouldn't even try to capture. I wouldn't worry about it. He can even attempt to fianchetto in that side if he wanted to as well. If someone did that, I would still develop my bishop. I mean, you can still develop it here. It's not a problem. He can even attempt to attack already on the queen side by simply doing, you know, h5. I'm not 100% sure if this is actually really good or not, but some might be thinking along the lines of attacking on the queen side to try to get a queen. I think it's a bit early, because you can simply just, you know, develop here to prevent him from pushing the other pawn up, his b pawn. So, and obviously if he captures, you can capture back, and then he's really going to have, you know, a little bit of issues. I mean, he still can probably just do some castle, so, but it's going to cause a little bit of problems. I mean, that's kind of looks a little bad. So that's another thing that's here. And besides h5, I mean, I highly doubt anyone will run into something like f6. f6 is something that I doubt people will run into. However, f6 isn't really all that bad. It still gives them a nice structure. It's not like horrible. And also, he won't. I doubt anyone will ever play knight to h6 because he'll simply capture the knight. Obviously with the bishop. So I doubt anyone will do knight to h6 or queen to d8 undeveloping a piece. So these are pretty much basic moves that are possible here. But I don't really see exactly how he can resolve castling right away. And because of that, most of his moves will be involving in trying to get himself ready for a castle. So you have like all these pieces that are still at home. They can't come out very easy. They can't come out very free. You can develop and move around almost as you please for the most part. And your opponent is stuck at the situation of trying to figure out the best way he can move to castle. So his position is pretty tied up. It's not a guaranteed win or a loss for either side here. I'm going over solid lines, not trick lines. However, if someone was very concerned and did the knight move so he can try to fianchetto his bishop, which some people like to do, he can run into some troubles if he does it too early. It's still possible, obviously, but not. If he does it too early, he will definitely lose because of the queen on c7. So, all right, this is the fourth video on it, and in this one I covered queen to c7 on the fifth move. So it kind of causes an issue of actually developing and castling for black, and you're down a pawn. So it is even. However, like I said, if you don't find a way to keep him trapped, if you don't find a way to keep him tied up, if you don't find a way to take advantage of your free mobility, it will end up being black's game because you're down a pawn, and that can slowly lead to a win. And actually he has two pawns on A and B, and you don't have a pawn on A or B. So and your C pawn is back. So if he's able to capture the C pawn and try to force his A and B pawn down, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So that's why you're going to need to find a way yourself, and that's like more of a middle game thing, more of a strategy, and you have to learn. If you're going to be playing this position and someone is black plays queen to c7, you're going to have to learn how to develop your pieces in a way to prevent black from castling or cause much issues as possible, and tie his pieces as much as possible in hopes that he makes mistakes or cannot develop. So you do have that advantage, and as long as you take care of that and be careful with your C pawn, because of obviously you don't want him to move his A and B pawn down because they're connected. As long as you're able to take care of that, you will be fine. So hope you enjoyed the video. Tomorrow I will be going a little bit over knight to f6. So I'll be here. Like and subscribe. If you subscribe, you will automatically get updated once I make another video. And also, you can always tell your friends about it, unless of course you're playing with your friends who like Sicilian and you're trying to have some fun with it. Besides that, if you actually want to share and actually learn with people that you can always share it with your friends. Alright, just like and subscribe. Have a good day and enjoy playing chess.